the People's Republic of China developed QW-1 Vanguard is an all-aspect man-portable surface-to-air missile, from which a series of missiles were developed. QW-1, it was first publicly shown at the 1994 Farnborough Air Show as a successor to HN-5 series manpads. Description The missile reportedly is the Chinese version of 9K-310 QW-1 missile systems incorporating some features of FIM-92 Stinger. According to many domestic Chinese media sources and some sources outside China, Chinese obtained the Soviet samples via Zaire from UNITA-captured 9K-310 QW-1 missile from Angola governmental forces. The missile is operated by a two-man team. Once a target is visually detected, the assistant selects the launch site and removes end caps from the front and back of the launcher. The gunner then partially depresses the trigger, which activates the electronic battery and opens the coolant bottle, cooling the seeker to operating temperature. The gunner tracks the target visually, until the missile locks onto the target, indicating this with both a flashing light and an audio tone. The gunner then provides target lead and depresses the trigger all the way. This triggers the booster section of the missile, which projects the missile a safe distance away from the operator before the sustainer motor ignites. The missile is guided by proportional navigation to the approximate impact point, before switching to a terminal guidance mode that attempts to steer the missile to the most vulnerable point of the target. Specifications Foreign variant Pakistan has produced a missile, the Amza Mk2, which is believed to incorporate components from the QW-1 Vanguard. Iran has also developed its own version of the Vanguard, under the name Missa-1 and its subsequent evolution, the Missa-2, and is currently phasing out its supply of QWs. The exact nature of the homegrown modifications are unknown, but it has been claimed that the range and the top speed of the missiles have been improved to 5 km and 800 meters per second respectively, in the Missa-2. QW-1M is a development of QW-1, and first revealed in Zhuhai Air Show. The missile is considered as a third-generation manpad by Chinese, and many domestic Chinese media sources claim that it is the Chinese equivalent of Soviet SA-18 Grouse, which it strongly resembles. Like its predecessor QW-1, QW-1M also appeared to incorporate technologies of FIM-92 Stinger. Various Western sources have postulated that China had likely obtained FIM-92 Stinger samples from either Afghan guerrilla or Pakistan, or even Iran, but such claims have yet to be confirmed. The missile is slightly heavier than QW-1, weighing at 18 kilograms for the entire system, and it is claimed to have better ECCM capability and better capability to engage low-flying aircraft in comparison to QW-1. QW-1A is a derivative of QW-1M, with the adaptation of man-portable radar weighing 30 kilograms and a range of 15 kilometers, and it is carried by the observer. The associating fire control system enables various QW-1A units to be linked up and thus increasing the effectiveness by forming an air defense network, which in turn, could be integrated into large air defense network. Although the entire QW-1A system including radar/fire control system could be carried by a crew of two-men team, it is often mounted on vehicles. QW-11 is a development of QW family that is specifically designed to engage terrain-hugging cruise missiles, while retaining the capability of engaging low-flying aircraft. QW-11 was first revealed at Zhuhai Air Show in 2002. A new combined impact and proximity fuse is developed to provide better capability against cruise missiles. Length, 1.477 meters, missile weight, 10.69 kilograms, system weight, 16.9 kilograms, warhead, 1.42 kilograms, range, 0.5 5000 m, altitude, 30 m, 4 kilometers, reaction time, 10 seconds. QW-11G, improved version of QW-11 with enhanced ECCM capability was displayed at same Zhuhai Air Show with QW-11 in 2002. The suffix G stands for Gaijin or Gai Liang in Chinese, meaning improvement. The QW-11G system does not have dimensional changes physically so that QW-11 missile can be directly used for QW-11G. QW-18 QW-18 is the development of the QW-11G with an improved seeker. QW-18 first appeared in two air show with QW-11 and QW-11G in 2002. An enhanced dual-band infrared seeker is developed so that the target is not only tracked via the exhaust heat, but also the temperature difference of the skin of the target. These improvements provided better capabilities against terrain-hugging cruise missiles at supersonic speed. Externally, QW-18 is identical to QW-11G/QW-11. QW-2 QW-2 is a missile with all-aspect attack capability and improved ECCM capability. There are two types of seeker for QW-2. The first is the dual-band infrared passive seeker first revealed in 1998, and an imaging IR seeker has been designed sometimes later. The fuse is similar to that of QW-18. The minimum altitude is decreased to 10 m, thus further improving the capability against low-flying cruise missile and hovering helicopters that suddenly pop up from hiding. Range, 0.5 6 km, speed, 600 meters per second, diameter, 72 mm, length, 1.59 meters, warhead, 1.42 kilograms, missile weight, 11.32 kilograms, system weight, 18 kilograms, altitude, 10 ma 3.5 kilometers, foreign variant, Bangladesh and Pakistan has license-produced QW-2 as ANZA Mk. 3. CQW-2, vehicle-mounted version of QW-2 mounted on a 4x4 high-mobility armored vehicle with 3 crew members, commander, driver and gunner. The fire control systems mainly consisted of radar and electro-optical system. Once the target is acquired by radar, it is passed to the electro-optical system for tracking and engagement. The board system allows the gunner to fire either a single missile or 2 missiles at a time, and there is a total of 8 missiles. Inside the vehicle, there are another additional 8 missiles for reload. The missiles of CQW-2 are interchangeable with that of manpad version, but they cannot be directly interchanged in the field. The prefix C standards for Chase-Z in Chinese, meaning vehicle-mounted. QW-3, this is the Chinese equivalent of French Mistral missile, with fuse developed from that of QW-2. The missile is unique among Chinese manpad in that this is the only surface-to-air missile that adopts the semi-active laser guidance similar to AGM-114 Hellfire. The gyro-stabilized seeker provides very high degree of accuracy and is extremely effective against low-altitude cruise missiles. The 15 degrees per second tracking rate of the seeker is relatively low in comparison for other manpad for supersonic targets in high-G maneuver at very high altitudes, but this is by no means handicapping the performance because such targets are not intended to be for QW-3, which is specifically designed to engage terrain-hugging helicopters and WAVA-1 registered trademark S and other fast-flying targets at extremely low altitudes, including supersonic sea-skimming cruise missiles. The external look of the missile is similar to earlier QW missile with the exception of adding a booster with greater diameter than that of a missile. Due to the increased size and weight, the missile cannot be shoulder-fired like other manpad, but must be fired from bipod or tripod like French Mistral missile and Swedish RBS-70. Length, 2.1 meters, missile weight, 23 kilograms, range, 0.8 to 8 kilometers, altitude, 4 ma 5 kilometers, speed, 750 meters per second. TB-1 TB-1 is a missile derived from QW series, first revealed at the 8th Zhuhai Air Show held in the fourth quarter of 2010 by its developer, China Aerospace Science and Industry Corporation. TB-1 utilizes the airframe of QW-1 and the seeker of QW-3, and thus has the same diameter of QW-1 and the main stage of QW-3, around 70 mm. TB-1 is designed to engage both aerial and ground targets by adopting a specially designed shaped charge armor-piercing blast fragmentation warhead, so that it can successfully destroy armored vehicles and light tanks, in addition to aerial targets QW-13 could destroy. At its public debut, a twin launcher was shown. FLS-1, naval version of QW-3 with launcher looks very similar to that of our IM-116 rolling airframe missile externally. Although many Chinese media sources claim that it is the equivalent of our IM-116 rolling airframe missile, with the total weight less than a ton. When QW-3 missiles are used, the FLS-1 system actually lacks the fire-and-forget capability of the RAM. However, the FLS-1 system can also be used to deploy the infrared-guided TY-90, and thus becoming a fire-and-forget capable SAM system like American or IM-116 rolling airframe missile. The fire control system includes radar and electro-optics, that can be either dedicated or utilizing the existing systems on board the naval vessel. The FALS-1 system with QW-3 missiles has been retrofitted to fast attack craft to the plan, but FLS-1 system with TY-90 has not entered services despite successfully completing acceptance tests and receiving state certification. Although naval versions of other members of QW family have been successfully developed, they were not accepted into service with the exception of FLS-1. Instead, the Chinese deploy other QW missiles in the similar way United States Navy deploys FIM-92 Stinger missiles on board ships. Sailors and Marines on board ships were organized into manpad gunnery detachment to station on board ships, and fire the missile like the way the missiles are shoulder-fired on land. QW-4, the newest member of QW series with a fuse similar to that of QW-2, and a new thermal imaging seeker. The new fully electric control surfaces provide smoother flight path curves, thus greatly improved accuracy. Range 0.5 6 km, speed, Mach 2, max altitude, 4 km, min altitude, 4 meters above ground level, 2 meters above sea level. FLV-1, vehicle-mounted version for all QW series of missiles, development of CQW-2. In addition to QW series of missiles, other Chinese-built manpad missiles such as HN-5 series and FN-6 series can also be used. The missiles are also mounted a high-mobility 4x4 armored vehicle with same configuration, and the speed of the vehicle is greater than 85 km per hour and range is slightly greater than 600 km. The fire control system also works in the way similar to that of CQW-2, and the radar of FLV-1 has a range of 18+ km. The reaction of the entire system is less than 8 seconds. The missiles of FLV-1 can be directly removed from the vehicle mount and rapidly used by infantry in the field as shoulder-fired missiles. Vehicle speed, 85 km per hour, vehicle range, 600 km, radar range, 18 km, missile, configuration of 2, 4, or 8, reload, 8 total, reaction time, 100 hours, mean time between catastrophic failure, 250 hours, mean time to repair,